All right, people, once again, we've got to talk because I've been doing a lot of thinking about how last episode ended and all the implications and possibilities that might happen in the future. But the more I thought about it, the more I see this only going one way. And just like before, when I made a video on Mira and what Mira might do when she first appeared in the story and that became useful, I imagine I'll be using this video in the future as well because I am quite confident this is what's going to happen. So what are we talking about? Well, it's really two things that I'm combining into one. That being, one, the actions only one took in chapter 46, and two, Mira and Nayuta. I'll start with the second and then lead to the first. A big question that chapter 46 gives us is, who's getting the upper hand on who? Did Mira completely outplay Nayuta, or does Nayuta have some super secret plan to where she's gonna get the better of Mira? Because it makes sense that someone as smart as Nayuta, who knows that Mira is completely untrustworthy and an acquaintance of necessity, would have a backup plan for the very thing that Mira is, corruption itself. Furthermore, Snow White even said at the end, she trusts Nayuta, and that Nayuta would have to have a plan, further emphasizing that Nayuta should be okay. And a lot of people could be looking at this as Mira's fatal mistake. One, giving away her existence to the greater force in general, because best believe Snow White's gonna spread that around. And betraying the only person who will probably be willing to work with her on this planet. This certainly looks like curtains from Mira, but let's go back to Only One. Because you see, what worried me and why I even was thinking about things so much is Only One saw Marion in sickbay. And the implication seems to be that Only One wants to give Marion one of her cores. Well, I think that is the most heartwarming thing that Only One can do. After thinking about it, I really don't want Only One to do that. Not only for I think the obvious reason that everybody would guess, Only One would be weaker, and therefore the Queen would be top dog, but also for what it would mean, and why these two things are connected. Let's put ourselves in Mira's point of view. Right now, Mira was thinking that there was no way humanity could defeat the Queen, when, with the knowledge that we all have, I think a lot of us would agree we have a pretty good chance. The counters evolved. Enoch just had an impressive showing from Endless's capabilities. We're now going to also have Liberalio, who can give us intel. We still have the old tales, and the most important thing, Only One defeated the Queen, which was our biggest issue, and a crucial fact that Mira did not have when making her decision. So imagine when the Queen comes back and she hears word of that. What is Mira gonna think? She's going to panic. Even more so if she investigates how Only One even came to be and finds out about the counter squad. In essence, Mira should feel she has utterly doomed herself. She teamed up with the person she did not want to be with, and it seems Only One would have no trouble in completely defeating the Raptors herself. And with all that being said, I can only see Mira doing one thing. She would need to power up the Rapture Queen for her to stand any chance against a threat that is Only One. But I mean, how would you do that? Because it's not like we have another Queen tier core just lying around, and oh shoot, we do. Here comes the worrying part. A lot of people have been saying Nayuta has a plan to get out of this, but in going back and watching the scene, Nayuta did make some mistakes. When she was asking Mira about her replicas, she flat out told Mira that her nymph would come back to her if they were killed, yet that didn't happen. While I'm believing that Nayuta suspected that Mira was responsible, that was still information she didn't have to volunteer. And we know that to be the case. It is possible that Nayuta wanted Mira to do that. It's possible that she could be faking to be corrupted. Maybe she has a method similar to Cinderella and her eyes are red, and she's just playing the part of being corrupted. Except that she summoned her clones at the end. And no matter what, I can't see that being what Nayuta wants because her clones are not a fighting force. If they were, she could have ended the threat of the queen by herself, but that's not the case. So I have no choice but to assume Nayuta is genuinely corrupted and under Mira's influence. And that's a threat because of the other thing that they mentioned in chapter 46. Nayuta is responsible for the dual cores and the lift and the arc. And it's not confirmed, but it almost seems to be alluding to she was the deep member who fused Rappy and Red Hood. And even if that's not the case, she's at least on the same level as that individual. Meaning, Mira can use Nayuta's expertise to take the Marian core that the queen took and make a dual core system in the queen's body. Meanwhile, only one will get weaker, give her core to Marian, and I think only one will genuinely not fight again. And if that's all the case, including the fact that Liberalia is going to probably be in a standard body, because no matter how you look at it, that's just a smart thing to do. They want Liberalia for her knowledge, not her battle prowess. At least right now. That is a much more terrifying situation, and suddenly I'm not sure about us completely winning this battle. And the more I think about it, that's gotta be how things will go, because the devs said, we've been in the prologue. If the final boss isn't too much of a threat, like yeah, the queen took out the goddess squad. But one, they were caught off guard, and two, they were using 100-year-old models. They hadn't gotten a single upgrade to put their skills to good use. Then there's again the battle with the counters in 6-0 Endless. The power level of all of this has just increased. Not to mention, the queen couldn't control raptures like Gluttony before. The queen also lacks the transformation that every other heretic, even Only One and Marian, other queen candidates have. But if the queen gets a dual core, that could be it. And from everything I've seen, it would fit with how Mira consistently gets the raptures, keeps them in the fight. And the only reason Mira would do this is if she had no other choice. Mira wanted us to win. But now the consequence of her breaking off with us too early is not that she's going to suffer, but that she'll have no choice but to power up the queen so that we are defeated by any means necessary. And all of that I feel would only be possible if unfortunately Nayuta did fall for Mira's plan and her backups, at least her immediate backup, because I'm pretty sure Nayuta's plan was, I'm going to take myself out. Because that's when she said, this will not go your way. She's going to take herself out to prevent Mira from using her like this. But that didn't happen. No, I fear that Mira is going to use Nayuta. She might even start making more replicas of Nayuta to fight us on the battlefield alongside the human side raptures, or maybe even use Nayuta's expertise to improve the rapture designs. Because I feel the alternative is, if Nayuta did have a plan for Mira, then that means we'd have beaten the queen and dealt a blow to the only other significant threat we have. Because I'm pretty sure Eovista can be easily beaten by Scarlet, and a combination of some other elites, and Altruia is an Anise victim. We have answers to everything that they can do right now, unless Mira uses Marian's core to power up the queen, which again is something she would never do because she wanted Marian to be the queen, unless she had no choice. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I can't see the devs wanting this story to end that quickly. And I think that really is a deciding factor. Either Nayuta comes through with the ultimate clutch and we end the threat of this queen really soon, Our mirror's about to make it so we cannot even touch the queen for a long time. And it really will be a devastating war. But those are just my thoughts. Please tell me what are yours. I asked the question of the day in my previous episode, but now that you all have heard my full thoughts, I'm curious if you think there are any holes in it or you think something different will happen. By all means, please post your thoughts down in the comments below. And I will see you all for when we still continue chapter 46 next time.